God of War Ragnarok is right around the corner, so now is the perfect time to go back to the history of the God of War franchise. Spanning 7 console titles and even a mobile one, the series is a very detailed account of the life and many deaths of Kratos, the Ghost of Sparta. From the very creation of the universe to the birth of Kratos and through all of his life up to his latest moments, this is the full series recap of God of War. First, there was nothing. And then, there were gods, the primordials, who came from chaos. Who made chaos? Well, what did the primordials do? As you'll find out, there's only one possible answer to that question. They punched each other, and they punched each other so hard, they created space and the earth and everything on accident. After the punching ended, the remaining primordials, Gaia and her son Uranus, not Uranus, Uranus, I'm not making that joke. I guess you could still make a joke about urine, so I really can't win, can I? Bore the Titans. If you see a giant shaved gorilla, that's a Titan, by the way. And so, the Titans started to rule the earth as the first gods. The youngest of the Titans, Kronos, decided he wanted to kill and overthrow his father, and so he did. This started the infamous cycle of patricide. You'll be hearing about this a lot. After reigning for a bit, Kronos found out about the prophecy that he will be overthrown by his child, like he did. You know, karma. Kronos naturally decided to prevent this, because that always works, right? And so, every child he bore, he ate. His wife, Rhea, who wasn't giant or a shaved gorilla, don't ask me how they made children either, I don't know, naturally wasn't happy about this. Hey, so if you're scared of being overthrown by your child, maybe we should stop having children?
No.
Okay, but at least you're chewing, right? To make sure they actually died?
Nah, I don't have to.
Okay. Noted. And so when it came time for Kronos to eat his youngest son, Zeus, Rhea came up with a genius plan to feed him a rock instead. The big idiot wouldn't even notice. Best part? It works. An eagle takes baby Zeus away to Gaia, and he grows up to be a beautiful, ripped young man who would never ever cheat on his wife and will always be a great ruler. When the time is right, Zeus makes Kronos spit out his siblings, and they declare war on the Titans. This will be known as the Great War for the empty fields of PlayStation 2's maximum cutscene rendering capabilities. The new gods, Olympians, receive awesome weapons and magical powers that would work great as video game mechanics, wink. But the battle is pretty evenly matched until Zeus whips out the ultimate weapon, the Blade of Olympus. With a single strike, he uses the blade's vague powers to incapacitate the Titans and chains them in Tartarus, the darkest depths of the underworld. But this is not the last we've seen of them, trust me. Zeus grows out a badass beard, and the gods establish themselves as the rulers of humanity, residing on Mount Olympus. And everything goes pretty great, until a boy named Kratos is born. Look at this angry mug. Get used to it. To his mother Callisto, and no father. No father in Greek mythology. What would that mean? He and his brother Deimos grow up in Sparta, which is famously known as the healthiest, happiest society in history, and the brothers have a great time training to fight and murder each other from a very young age, when suddenly, the city is attacked, and 2 dark figures who definitely won't have further importance in the story appear and take Deimos away. Kratos tries to save him, but fails and loses his brother. What a wonderful core memory for Kratos. It won't lead to any trauma whatsoever. Because the loss of his brother impacted him so much, Kratos gets a red tattoo identical to the birthmark Deimos had. He also promises to never give up in battle. That will bite him on the ass very soon. Fast forward a few decades, and Kratos is the youngest, most accomplished general Sparta has ever known. He is so good at war that you could almost say he's a god at war, of war, god of war. The one thing that keeps Kratos a loving human is his wife and daughter, Lysandra and Calliope. But as the years go on, he spends more and more time doing war, and one day he would bite more than he could chew. In the battle against the ruthless barbarians, Kratos finds himself in a bit of a predicament. That predicament being he's about to die. Unwilling to lose or give up or die, Kratos does the most obvious thing. He calls for the help of the god of war,
Ares!
the son of Zeus with a completely unfamiliar silhouette, appears before Kratos.
Hello, man who I've never met before and clearly don't have an eye on. I will help you, but you will have to become my servant forever and do terrible things for me. Deal?
Yeah, that seems fair. Let's do it. And bada bing, bada boom, the deal is done. Ares destroys the barbarians and Kratos becomes his slave. As a symbol of that, he receives arguably the most iconic weapon in video game history, the Blades of Chaos. Yeah, they're seared to his arms and it's very painful, but they're super badass and epic, so who cares, right? Feeling the power of Ares within him, Kratos says it's murdering time and murders all over the barbarian king. What a great decision you made today, Kratos. Well done. As promised, Kratos takes his army and does terrible things in the name of Ares. So like, pretty much what he was doing before. One day, they end up at this village and Kratos is about to enter the local temple, but is warned by the local oracle. I predict some bad stuff is gonna happen if you go in there. Some character changing stuff, you know? Kratos obviously ignores her, goes in and murders everyone. Wilhelm scream and all. Then suddenly, he realizes who his last victims are. His wife and daughter, dead before him. The head of Ares magically pops out of the fire.
Now you have nothing to lose, Kratos. You will be very dangerous. I am very smart, and that will not backfire at me whatsoever.
I mean, you're not wrong, but I'm like upset now that you did that, and I want revenge on you now, Ares. As the temple burns, the oracle curses Kratos. The ashes of his family would be stuck to his skin forever, except for those awesome red tattoos, of course. Now, everyone will know what Kratos has done, but at some point everyone will just start ignoring that part for some reason, but whatever. Anyway, with this curse, the ghost of Sparta is born. Now, he is very marketable. Then there's this whole game about how Kratos has a blood oath to Ares and is still bound to him, and he kills the Furies that are the Oath Keepers and breaks free. But that game is kind of insignificant in terms of plot, and no one really likes it, so I'll just skip that, alright? So at this point, Kratos is like, I just pledged loyalty to a god, and he was so terrible that he tricked me into killing my own family, and now the image of them dying literally makes my life insufferable, because I never stop seeing it. What should I do now? Oh, I know. How about I become the slave to all the other gods and hope that they free me of the terrible nightmares? What a great idea. Now this will make my life better. So Kratos goes to the gods, and the gods are like, cool, nice to have you. Do a bunch of very difficult tasks for us, and in turn, we're making vague promises that who knows if we're gonna hold up, alright? And so, Kratos begins his servitude to the gods. For example, one of his tasks includes single-handedly protecting a city from an army and scary beast stuff. There's a lot of that in this universe. Then, all of a sudden, the sun just falls down. This is 5 years in, by the way, so Kratos is a little fed up with running errands to the gods. Athena, daughter of Zeus and goddess of wisdom and war, who's like Kratos' direct supervisor, tells Kratos that the sun god Helios was abducted, and he needs to go find him. Or else the god of dreams Morpheus, not this one, he's named after the god, will take over and Olympus will fall asleep forever. Fine, whatever, I guess. So he takes the steeds of Helios and they lead him towards Helios down. And so, Kratos finds himself in Hades, the underworld, for the very first time, and definitely the last. There, he finds out that the Titan Atlas has escaped, abducted Helios, and is planning to destroy the pillar that holds the entire world. Kratos is a little dead inside at this point in his life, so he doesn't really care, but then he ends up at the Fields of Elysium, the Greek paradise, where he meets Persephone, wife of Hades and queen of the underworld. She tells Kratos that he can live in Elysium with his daughter Calliope if he gives up all his powers, and Kratos is like, yes please! So he gives up all his powers and reunites with his daughter. Then Persephone starts going on about how she released Atlas and is planning to destroy the world because she was forced to marry Hades and hates the gods, and that he and his daughter will die. Why would you tell him that, you dumb bitch? If you didn't tell him, he wouldn't have what? Anyway, Kratos has to reject his daughter for her own sake and kill a bunch of spirits to become a monster again, and with the help of Helios, defeats Persephone. Congratulations on popping your god-killing cherry, Kratos. Here's to many, many more. But you never forget your first, right? Actually, in this case, everyone kind of forgets. Such as the fate of prequel games, but I digress. As he was fighting Persephone, Atlas destroyed the pillar, but Kratos managed to chain him to the ceiling of the world, I guess. And that's how Atlas happened to hold the world.
We'll meet again, Spartan.
How do you know, Atlas?
This is a prequel game, Kratos. It's just a cool reference for in-universe synergy.
Huh. Okay. By doing that, Kratos came to the genius conclusion that he needs to continue serving the gods, more certain that they will rid him of his nightmares, but they kind of don't, which makes Kratos more and more angry at the gods. They're not as nice as he hoped, who would have thought? 5 years later, Athena gives Kratos his last task. Ares, who's kind of a clown on Olympus, no one likes him, is jealous of his sister, and to show his strength to Olympus, launched an attack on Athens. Kratos' task is to stop and kill Ares. So Kratos gets to exact revenge on the one he hates the most and finally be free of his mental torment? Sounds a little too good to be true, no? It is. But Kratos wonders, how could he, a mortal, defeat a god? Because Persephone doesn't count, everyone knows that. Athena tells Kratos that the Oracle of Athens will be able to tell him, and with that, Kratos sails to Athens. On his way to the Oracle, he meets this weird gravedigger, who's like, yo, check out this grave I'm digging for you. I'm definitely no one important, and this will not be relevant later, my son. Okay. So he rescues the Oracle, and she tells him to find a thing, Pandora's box, which contains the power to kill a god. So Kratos asks Athena about it. Oh yes, Pandora's box is real. Can you just tell me immediately? Why did I have to save the Oracle for that? Well, I wanted you to save her. I am your servant, Athena. You could just command me to do that. Whatever, just go find the box. It is located in Pandora's temple on the back of the last Titan Kronos, who was cursed by Zeus to wander the desert of lost souls until he dies. Hold on, the last Titan? I just saw all of them in Tartarus, no? That was a prequel game, Kratos, okay? The writers didn't know about this yet. Just go. And with that, Kratos sets off on his big adventure. Will our protagonist be able to traverse the desert, reach Pandora's temple, best lethal Indiana Jones-esque traps, and complete deadly challenges? Yes, he will. He's the protagonist. Kratos reaches Pandora's box and sets off to return to Athens. Meanwhile, Ares, back in Athens, is like,
Hey, I'm a god, and I can see what you're doing, Kratos. Please don't do that. I don't like that. Stop. Anyway, catch. Oh, almost got it. Too bad.
Ares takes possession of the box, and as Kratos draws his last breath, he sees his family bleeding out before him. And with that, he dies. The end.
Psych!
Kratos falls into the underworld, but he kinda decides that he doesn't want to die yet, so he hangs on to some giant bones instead. Besides, he already knows his way around the place. After jumping on some bones for a while, a rope falls down for him. Climbing out, Kratos finds out that it was that same gravedigger he saw earlier.
See, I told you. Now go kill Ares. Isn't it funny how I dug you a grave, my son? What would that mean?
Foreshadowing. Now it's time to fight Ares. Kratos opens Pandora's box, and it turns out that the godly power within is to just grow very big. Actually, there is much more to this power. It's actually pretty complicated, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there, okay? So they fight for a little, then Ares sucks him into this weird realm, takes away his blades, tortures him mentally for a little bit, and then, what's this? A bridge shaped as a sword? A marble sword will definitely be as effective as a metal one. Great idea. Oh, it is. Huh. So, as you can see, Kratos manages to kill Ares. He finally exacts revenge on the god who took everything from him, even though it's all kind of his fault. But Kratos doesn't feel too great about it. His nightmares are still there. Once more, he begs Athena to take them away. Sorry, Kratos. You should read your contracts more carefully. There is a small text on the bottom that says we'll forgive you for your sins, but we never promise to take them away. Understandable. Have a nice day. Kratos doesn't have much choice at this point, so he walks to the highest peak in all of Greece, and the end.
Psych!
Magically, Kratos is lifted back onto the cliffs by Athena. Hey, you know how you just killed the god of war? We're kinda looking for a new one right now. Care for a promotion? Sure. Kratos ascends to Olympus, sits on his throne, and becomes the god of war. Roll credits. Just kidding, we're just getting started. This video is gonna be very long. Kratos hangs out as the god of war for a bit, but suddenly receives a vision. His mother is alive and is hidden in Atlantis. Naturally, he sets off to find Callisto, and pretty quickly, Kratos finds his mother, and is naturally a little upset.
Oh, hi, son. Your father hid me here. Also, your brother is alive and is hidden in the domain of death. You must fight him. Also, why is your skin so pale?
Long story. Also, what? You lied? Who is my father?
Isn't it obvious?
I knew it. Poseidon is my father.
No, you dummy. I'm turning into a big scary monster because I'm cursed not to say your father's name for plot twist purposes.
And Kratos has to fight and kill his mother. A little grim. In honor of his mother, he decides to reenact one of his favorite childhood cartoons, Atlantis, the Lost Empire. So he explodes a volcano and sinks Poseidon's kingdom. But he will be very happy about that. And so, Kratos sets off on his big adventure. Will our protagonist be able to find a MacGuffin thing in Sparta, reach the domain of death, and find his brother? Yes, he will. He is the protagonist. Deimos, I found you. Wow, you got ripped, not bad. Kratos, I hate you. You didn't save me. How could you? And why are you so pale? Long story. Also, what do you mean? I was a kid and I literally tried to save you. Look, I even got your birthmark tattooed in your honor. And they fight, and then, hello, I'm also here. I'm Thanatos, the god of death, and foreshadowing and exposition. Those last two things aren't true. I came up with that. It's a joke for the video. Thanatos tries to kill Deimos, but Kratos saves him, so now they're best buddies. That was fast. Together, they face Thanatos. Now it's exposition time. As it turns out, shortly after the war with the Titans, the Oracle predicted that a mortal, a marked warrior, will destroy Olympus. That obviously made Zeus a little paranoid. As it turns out, those two dark figures do have importance because they are in fact Ares and Athena. And they took Deimos because he has a mark, marked warrior. But maybe Deimos wasn't the right person to take. Who knows? Who's to say? But that doesn't matter because fate is controlled by the gods and no one has free will. If only something could be done about that. Foreshadowing. With the obligatory prequel game exposition and foreshadowing out of the way, time to fight. The brothers fight Thanatos, and then, bam, Deimos dies. Kratos unlocks nuclear rage mode, and yes, you guessed it, kills Thanatos. Kratos carries his brother up the bluffs. By total coincidence, not planned at all, the gravedigger is there. Kratos has to bury his brother. I just killed death itself. How is that even possible? It's a metaphor, Kratos. You are death, if you didn't notice. Also, hey, old man with a gray beard who's clearly probably a god in disguise and calls me my son, would you know who my father is? Real conundrum, this one. No. Okay, thanks. Much to think about. Alright, so let's assess. Kratos killed his own wife and daughter, served the gods for 10 years, still has the nightmares of his past torturing him non-stop, and most recently had to kill his own mother and watch his brother die. And also the gods are behind his brother's kidnapping and torture, and his father has something to do with all of it. That's a lot. Assessing all that, Kratos makes a decision. He will finally face all his trauma and seek help from a mental health professional. What he actually decides is to drown all of his sorrows in the heat of war. He is the god of war after all, right? He's gonna do so much war that Ares will turn in his grave, and so Kratos gathers his Spartan army and, as a personal fuck you to the gods, launches a takeover of all of Greece. And this event just may be significant enough to warrant an entire inconsequential mobile game. Naturally, the gods don't really like Kratos now. He's even worse than Ares. Stop doing this all, or bad things will happen, Kratos. I don't care, Athena. Also, you lied about my brother and made me a slave for 10 years, so fuck off. Kratos descends down onto the Isle of Rhodes that is currently being invaded by Sparta. Looks familiar, huh? Suddenly, an eagle takes away a portion of his godly powers and transports them into the giant statue, the Colossus of Rhodes, and it comes to life. Athena, goddess who is famously associated with an eagle, how could you do this to me? Kratos fights the Colossus for a bit and struggles a little, and then Zeus addresses him from the sky. Having trouble, eh? I can't do his voice. Having trouble, eh? Here's the Blade of Olympus. Remember that one from before in the video? Transport all of your godly powers into it and kill the beast. It will make you mortal, but that's fine. What a great idea, Zeus. Thanks. You're so smart. Kratos puts all of his godly powers into the blade and is mortal again and destroys the Colossus, but then... Oh, that's pretty bad. Dying. Kratos tries to reach the blade. The eagle from before descends and, oh my god! It was Zeus all along? Zeus tells Kratos that he is a threat to Olympus. As always, Kratos neglects his words and gets it.
You will never be the ruler of Olympus. The cycle ends here.
With these cryptic words, Zeus destroys the entire Spartan army, and Kratos dies. The end.
Yes!
As the hands of Hades pull Kratos into the underworld, he is addressed by Gaia, remember her, who is still stuck in Tartarus with all the other titans. They have a common goal now, revenge against Zeus. To do that, he will need to go to the island of creation, find and kill the Sisters of Fate, who control the fate of every being, and change his past. As a man blessed with some proper plot armor, Kratos makes his way out of hell once again. He finds that only one Spartan survived Zeus's attack and sends him to protect his city. And so, Kratos sets off on his big adventure. Will our protagonist be able to reach the island, beat 100 million bosses, solve twice as many puzzles, and kill the sisters? Yes, he will. He is the protagonist, but I kind of skipped the entire game right now, and this one is actually good, so I guess I should tell what happened in between. Kratos arrives to the island of creation, but it's actually 2 islands and Kratos needs to get across, so he goes to these giant steeds, kills this old dude, and somehow makes giant metal statues move the island. I don't know how that works, but it's pretty awesome. He travels through the island a little. Oh hey, it's that barbarian guy that almost killed Kratos. He's back from the dead as well. He will be tough to beat. Actually, it's super easy, barely an inconvenience. Now, let's see. Here's a scary thing. Die. Oh hey, it's the famed Greek hero Perseus, the protagonist of the legendary 1981 motion picture Clash of the Titans that inspired David Jaffe to create God of War over 20 years later, and is modeled after and voiced by Harry Hamlin, who played Perseus in the movie. I bet the developers will be very respectful to a character that's so important to the origins of this franchise. No, he's dead. Yep. Ooh, that's brutal. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, he ends up in Hades again. This place really just keeps pulling him back. Oh, hey, it's Atlas.
See, Kratos, I told you we'll meet again.
Oh, yeah, cool. But I have a question.
Yeah, what's up?
So, I went to Pandora's temple recently, and there was a challenge of Atlas there, and I saw a statue of you holding the earth, but how's that possible if the temple was built thousands of years ago and I chained you here like 10 years ago? Anyway, cause Kratos is now tight with the Titans. Huh?
Oh, brother, this guy stinks!
Atlas helps Kratos back up. Then Kratos pretends to do Mortal Kombat for a minute and hold on, that's the Spartan guy from 3 minutes ago. What is he doing here? As it turns out, Zeus, the petty bastard that he is, attacked and destroyed Sparta, and this guy is the last one who survived. Again, he survived Zeus twice. Very impressive, actually. Anyway, he came here to change the fate of Sparta and save his people, and he's the only one left. Well, correction, Kratos is the last one now because he killed him. I mean, it was dark, so after this, Kratos gets a little upset naturally and gets a little disheartened. Gaia uses a cheap trick and pretends to be a vision of his wife, telling him that he should use the rage born from Sparta's destruction to reach his goal and wage war on Zeus. And let me tell you, does Kratos take this advice to heart? Because there's gonna be a lot of rage from now on. As one does, Kratos resurrects the Phoenix and uses it to fly up to the Fates temple. And then, yeah, he kills the Fates. Because, of course he does. Now, Kratos has control over his thread, and he uses it to travel back in time and take the Blade of Olympus back from Zeus. Zeus is understandably like, what is even happening? How is this possible? Who cares? Time to fight! And they fly off and they do a big fight. You may ask what happened to the other Kratos that was left dying. Don't ask. Don't even start it. Kratos tricks Zeus and overpowers him, but Athena intervenes. Zeus doesn't seem too bothered that he was stabbed like 7 times, and Kratos tries again, but Athena saves Zeus. Oh no, this lady who made Kratos a slave for 10 years and refused to take his nightmares away and was involved in Deimos' kidnapping, but was kind of nice to Kratos for 3 seconds, so he's sad about her now. No. In her dying moments, Athena reveals why Zeus killed Kratos. The ancient curse, the cycle of patricide. Because Zeus is your father.
No. It's not true. That's impossible! Search your feelings. You know it to be true. No! No!
But how can this be? There were no hints towards this, not a single one. Anyway, Zeus fears that you will overtake him, and the cycle of patricide will continue, and that's why Zeus killed you, and why you are compelled to kill your father. I've kind of been dying for a while now, so it's time to die. Bye. As Athena leaves for the afterlife, full of rage and lust for revenge, Kratos declares death to Zeus. And if any Olympian would stand in his way, they will meet the same fate. Gaia reminds Kratos that he has time travel abilities now. What will Kratos do with his amazing time travel power? Will he use it to A, save his brother, B, prevent himself from becoming a slave to Ares, C, prevent himself from killing his family, or D, go to the times of the Great War and grab the Titans to start another war against Olympus in the present? Which one seems the most plausible to you, viewer? Vote now! Congratulations, you win! Of course he does. It is the most logical thing to do. Kratos travels back to the times of the Great War, remember that one? From the start of the video, he talks to Gaia, who knows him somehow, and grabs the Titans from the past to bring them back to the present. What happened to those other Titans Kratos saw in Tartarus? And how will the absence of the Titans impact the timeline? I told you not to ask. Stop thinking. Don't ask. The gods of Olympus gather to discuss what just happened. Suddenly, the very mountain starts to shake. The gods look down to find the Titans and Kratos invading Olympus. The Second Great War begins. There's a huge battle and the gods are fighting the Titans and fight, kill. A giant sea monster version of Poseidon attacks Kratos and Gaia.
Hello, how are you? I am under the water.
But guess what? Yep, Kratos and Gaia reach Zeus. See, Dad? This is what happens when you lack a father figure and traumatize and torture them mentally. I don't know what you expected, to be honest. Yeah, but I have a counter argument to that. Oh yeah, what's that? This? Trying to hold on, Gaia tells Kratos that he was just a pawn and that this is the Titans' war. Girl, you watch this man crawl out of hell, kill fate itself, and travel back in time to get you. Do you really think it's a good idea to tell him that right now? Genius. Unable to hold on, Kratos falls from Olympus and ends up in, you guessed it, back in Hades. It's like a second home for him at this point. Kratos takes a second to recuperate and, oh shit, it's Ghost Athena! Yeah, deal with it, Spartan. You know how you spent the entire previous game trying to get the blade back? Well, as you saw, it's kind of useless against Zeus, so you have to get another thing? Do we really have to do that again? Can we just do war this time? A search for a MacGuffin is the easiest way to propel the plot forward, Kratos. You must seek the Flame of Olympus. Only it contains the power to kill Zeus. Didn't you die trying to protect Zeus like 5 minutes ago? Why are you helping me now? Well, you see, it's certainly because, humanity suffers, yeah, anyway, bye, go find the flame.
Piss off, Ghost! He's freaking gone.
And so, Kratos sets off on his big adventure. Will our protagonist be able to... Blah, 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 you get it. Hanging out in Hades, Kratos finds his good friend Hephaestus. Do you know where the Flame of Olympus is? Nah, man, sorry. But Hephaestus asks if Kratos can't help save his daughter, Pandora. That name sounds familiar. I think you know what answer Kratos gives. Then Kratos goes to Hades, who's like,
You escaped my domain like 64 times. You killed my wife.
Finally someone remembers.
And a bunch of my relatives.
Yeah, whatever. Die. Oh hey, it's Helios, the guy we saved from Atlas that one time. Kratos, you don't need to do that. He's already distracted. Ooh. Yeah.
Where's the flame?
I don't know, man. Kratos, do you really have to... Ow. And now the sun is gone. Great. Oh, look, it's the Flame of Olympus. Kratos found it completely on accident.
Hold on, Athena. Couldn't you just tell me where it was? You definitely knew.
Oops. Oh well. What's that inside the flame? Hey, it's Pandora's box? Again? We already did that one. There is one more power left in the box, Kratos. You took all that power to kill Ares, but there is another power you need to kill Zeus. And to open it, you need another thing. I mean, it's not really a thing. It's like a person, but that's debatable. You need to find Pandora. It's a girl created by Hephaestus as a key to unlock the flame. Why would Hephaestus create a girl as a key? Also, if she unlocks the flame and not the box, shouldn't she be called Flame Dora? Kratos, are you ever gonna stop asking? Just find her. Are you gonna tell me where she is this time? I actually don't know this time. Okay. Hold on! It's Hermes! Kill! Our noble hero kills Hermes naturally. Fantastic. Kratos, what? Kratos, it's Hercules. He's not even a god. He's just a god. Okay. Kratos, are you using that poor woman as a way to hold up a gate? What the Kratos, what are you? Aphrodite is a married woman, Kratos, come. Pandora magically contacts Kratos through a very conveniently placed statue of her and tells him she's in the labyrinth, you know, from the myths. So now he has to find another thing that contains the thing, you know? But first, oh hey, Grandpa Kronos, trying to kill me? Well, you know what that means. Oh hey, Hephaestus, trying to kill me? Well, you know what that means. I know you're trying to save your daughter, but you're dealing with the ghost of Sparta here, and that's how he do be. Do be.
Do not deny me my doobie!
Hera, Zeus's wife, and the most cheated on person in the world. Yeah, she kinda deserved it though. I'll give Kratos a pass on this one. See, I've become so desensitized to murder that I encourage him to kill now. That's God of War for you. Kratos finds the labyrinth and frees Pandora. She speaks to Kratos about hope, but the Spartan, of course, sees hope as a mere weakness because he's way too masculine for all that shit. They reach the flame, but as Pandora tries to go into it to unlock it, Kratos suddenly doesn't want her to because, you see, I guess she reminds him of his daughter and his father instincts kick in. Never mind all that ruthless killing and all those mindless murders he just did, I guess. Then Zeus shows up out of nowhere. Where have you been all game? You just let your entire family get slaughtered. What were you doing? Then there is this big epic Mortal Kombat fight which gives Pandora an opportunity to unlock the flame. Kratos tries to stop her but fails. The flame is gone, and Kratos once again opens Pandora's box only to find it
Empty!
At this point, Kratos really doesn't care. More punching! Then Gaia shows up, so they fight inside Gaia. What a nice opportunity for a 2-in-1 combo, actually. I suppose the blade wasn't that useless after all. Gaia and Zeus are defeated, and Kratos is victorious. Congratulations, Kratos. What a sweet It seems Zeus is as reluctant to die as Kratos is. And he's a black demon thing now. Now it's Kratos' turn to die. Kratos goes into his psyche, and because the trilogy is about to end, and we've spent the entire game killing gods, now is the time for Kratos' character arc resolution. He confronts his greatest demons and mistakes, the death of his family, of Athena. In the end, he realizes that he had the power of hope in him all along. That power is to come back to life and beat the ever-living shit out of Zeus until he dies and fucking explodes, apparently. That's hope for you. As the dust from the explosion settles, Kratos looks at what he had done. He finally did it. He had his revenge. But as a result, he turned the world into complete chaos. With each god's death, their domain plunged out of control, and with the death of Zeus, the death of Olympus, it was all destroyed. Humanity suffered because of Kratos' personal vendetta, the cost of his need for vengeance. Doesn't he have time travel powers though? Not anymore, I guess. Athena asks him how he managed to kill Zeus without the power from the box, but then it dawns on her, and she dumps exposition. The Great War unleashed evils into the world. It's a vague, dark Greek mythology nonsense thing, and in this case, just a plot device. Zeus didn't want the evils to corrupt anyone, so he ordered Hephaestus to construct Pandora's box to seal them. But Athena put her power into the box, the power of hope. When Kratos opened the box for the first time, Athena believed Kratos used the evils, but instead, he used the power of hope, and the evils went to all the gods, which is why they were all dicks all of a sudden. So I guess the power of hope turns you into a giant until it doesn't. That's interesting. Athena demands that he returns her power so she can rule humanity on her own. It was her plan all along, and she just needed Kratos to wipe out Olympus. What a shocker. I'd rather kill myself. Stop messing around, Kratos. You aren't bluffing. With nothing left in his life, again, Kratos and accidentally releases hope to humanity, so they shall persevere. Athena is understandably upset about that. Kratos really managed to mess things up for literally everyone. She draws the blade out and leaves, to possibly reappear in a shitty comic book that no one likes 11 years later. Having finally forgiven himself and exacted his revenge, bleeding out on the cold stone at the peak of Olympus, Kratos finally and definitively dies in peace. The end. Hello? Yes. What do you mean he's too profitable? We killed him. God of War is done. Is the perfect conclusion. Yes. Yes, I guess. Do we really have to? Okay. Yes, I understand. All right, if you say so. Thanks. Bye. But maybe there is a chance he isn't dead after all. Yep, big change. Kratos is indeed not dead at all, and everything is very different. He had escaped Greece and found his way up north to Scandinavia to a place called Midgard, which is a pretty neat place if I do say so myself, which means he is now within a different mythology and consequently a new set of gods to, but how's that possible? Wasn't the whole world destroyed? Not necessarily. It's a little complicated. Kratos himself is very different, as you can see. He is much more stoic, calm, and reasonable now. For the most part. He has a new epic weapon, the Frosty Leviathan Axe. His voice dropped 3 tones.
Everything is different, boy.
And he has a magnificent Nordic beard now. But there is something no beard can hide. The regret of past mistakes. But we'll get back to those, trust me. Oh, and another very important thing, he has a new family now. This time, he got a son named Atreus, who you might know as...
Boy.
And, of course, a wife named Faye, who's... Well, at least Kratos knows how to handle it this time. And yes, the ashes of his previous family are still on him, so live with that. Kratos and Atreus don't have the best relationship. Kratos despises gods more than anything, and he's a god, and by extension, his son is a god too, which is not ideal. But more importantly, he sees himself as an uncontrollable monster, and for good reason. And it took him over a century to contain and tame that monster. And Kratos fears more than anything that Atreus will become that too, which led to Kratos being a very strict and distant father. And of course, Atreus believes that his father hates him, which couldn't be further from the truth. So yeah, we're dealing with some heavy themes now. Before she died, Faye's last wish was that they scatter her ashes atop the highest peak in all the realms. To make sure that Atreus is ready, they go on a little hunt, and it goes pretty well until... Yeah, the kid's definitely his father's son. Kratos tells Atreus that he's not ready, and Atreus is obviously pissed, but then, oh, it seems that there is a stranger at the door.
Sorry, I don't have any money. Goodbye.
That is not why I'm here.
Why are you here?
You know.
No, I do not.
Yeah, you do.
No.
Okay. Let's fight.
They throw trees and rocks at each other, and the stranger claims he was sent by Odin, the ruler of the local pantheon, the Aesir, and that he can't feel. He can't feel anything at all. Kratos naturally doesn't really care very much and does what he does best. Now that they've been compromised, Kratos and Atreus set off on their big adventure.
Will our protagonist and his son be able to fulfill Faye's request?
I don't think I need to answer that question at this point. Does this gag make any sense at all? I don't know. On the way, they meet a lot of peculiar characters. A very rude blue dwarf named Brock, a very nice non-blue dwarf named Sindri, and this very nice and kind witch of the woods who seems to be an excellent mother. You just can't tell. Oh, and this big-ass snake, but don't worry, he's actually cool. Oh, and you know how in the previous games you needed to get 1 or maximum 2 things per game to progress? You ain't seen nothing yet. They get closer to the mountain, but there's this big black smoke, so the witch tells them they have to go to Alfheim, the realm of the elves, to get the light of Alfheim, which can dissolve this big smoke. So they do that, and then they finally reach the mountain and find this horny dude named Mimir, who claims to be the smartest man alive, and was put inside a tree by Odin over 100 years ago. Yeah, the gods are dicks in this mythology too, surprise. He claims that this mountain is not the highest peak in the realms at all, and that it's in fact in Jotunheim, the realm of the giants. But the problem is, the giants sealed off most paths to Jotunheim because Odin, Thor, and the Aesir tried to wipe them all out. So they left Midgard and closed most ways to the realm. So that's a little inconvenient.
Well, that's too bad. Abort mission, I guess.
They chop Mimir's head off because they got hungry, so they bring it to the only alive woman they know to cook it for them, which is a little sexist, but oh, hey, the head's alive now. Oops, I guess they won't eat it after all. And he knows a way to get to Jotunheim. That's neat. Also, it's revealed that the witch is actually a goddess, Freya, Odin's ex, who was cast out by him. And because Kratos hates all gods and doesn't trust them, he gets angry and leaves. So, in order to get to Jotunheim, they need 2 things now. First, they need this magic chisel, so they go get that and they come across the 2 sons of Thor, Magni and Modi. Naturally, Kratos does what he does best, but Modi escapes. Next, they need to get the... Modi attacks again and mocks Atreus. Atreus gets a little too Kratos-y and passes out. Kratos fights Modi off and finds that Atreus is sick and is actively dying. Kratos brings him to, yep, you guessed it, back to Freya, who tells him that this sickness came because Atreus doesn't know his true nature, that he's a god. The conflict within him grew so strong, the belief that his father hates him purely out of weakness grew so strong that it poured outwards as a sickness. To save him, Kratos needs to get another thing, the heart of the bridge keeper in Helheim, the local underworld, but it's so cold there that his axe is useless, so maybe he has something more useful. I don't know. Kratos returns home, and he has to unearth, quite literally, his past. The Blades of Chaos, the very symbol of his servitude to Ares, and the weapon he used to kill his own family. But now, he will use them for good. He will use them to save his son. A mental image of Athena taunts him that he's just a monster, but Kratos rises above. Now that's character development. Kratos takes the bridge keeper's heart in Helheim, and Freya manages to cure Atreus temporarily, but in order to really make things right, Kratos needs to do the most difficult thing: tell the truth.
I'm a god, boy.
Okay.
What do you mean, okay?
Yeah, we're gods, cool. Let's go. Well, that was easy. Where were we? Oh yes, we need to get a second thing. It's like a rune thing hidden within Tyr's temple. Tyr is the local god of war, but he fought for peace and tried to bring unity and knowledge to all the peoples and mythologies of the world. Damn, you could do that all along? Oh, also, Tyr's temple is the bridge that lets everyone travel to different realms. That's important for later. So they find this rune and they go back and they run into Modi again, who's a little messed up by his father Thor. Guess Kratos really isn't that bad of a dad, huh? Atreus got a little starstruck with the whole being a god business and kind of decided not to care about morals anymore and just straight up murders Modi. Kratos, are you gonna do something about that? No, your kid's fucked up. So they get to the summit again and put in the rune, but then the stranger attacks. He survived, and also his name is Balder, son of Odin. And in the struggle, Kratos destroys the only way to Jotunheim, idiot. Balder kidnaps Atreus, so Kratos gives chase, and they fight on Balder's pet dragon. Yes, pet dragon. And they end up in Helheim again. At this point, Kratos is a little fed up with Atreus' nonsense, and he's like,
"You're weak, you're out of control, and you become an embarrassment to yourself and everybody else."
So Atreus just stops doing that now, I guess. Now, being in Helheim is bad for a few reasons. One, it's cold is deadly. Two, it's very hard to leave. And three, the realm tortures its inhabitants with their past, and that's not very good, especially for Kratos. A lot of torturing with the past opportunities for this guy. On the way out, they come across Balder, who's getting tortured as well. As it turns out, Freya is his mother, and she's the one who cursed Balder with invulnerability to all threats, physical or magical. But as a side effect, Balder stopped feeling anything at all, even the good things. And naturally, he grew to hate his mother. She tried to protect her son, but in turn, lost him. So that's not fun. Anyway, they use this flying boat to escape, and Kratos gets a previous game flashback of him killing Zeus, and Atreus sees it, so that's great. And they stumble upon Odin's vault on accident, and Mimir's special eye thing reveals Tyr's secret plan to help save the giants. I think we can still get them to Jotunheim. I'm not doing a Scottish accent.
I thought the gate was the last chance.
Nope, there's another way.
What do we do?
We need to find this thing that...
Are you fucking kidding me?
And so they go back to Tyr's temple. This is a really long game. And they find the Unity Stone that helped Tyr to travel between different realms and lands. They use it to travel the realm between realms and find the missing Jotunheim tower that's been missing from Tyr's temple in Midgard. Using the stone, they return the tower. And are we finally ready to go to Jotunheim now? No, what is it this time? We need to find Mimir's second eye, apparently. It's held up inside a statue of Thor, but the world serpent ate it, and they have to go swim inside. They find the eye, but on the way back, the serpent is attacked and they fly off. Freya arrives looking for her son, and he's not far behind. The man literally punched the biggest creature in the world. Gotta give him a little credit. He tries to kill Freya, but Kratos stops him, so it's time to fight again. Balder punches Atreus, but something happens. His invulnerability disappears. So what happened? Well, Sindri gave Atreus mistletoe arrows, and then Kratos used an arrow tip to fix Atreus' quiver, and it just so happens that mistletoe is the one weakness to Freya's spell. What a nice coincidence. After breaking free from his curse, Balder immediately goes, "Oh, you cured me. Thank you so much. I'm letting you go now. Bye." So that's that. They fight, of course, but Balder can be killed now. Freya tries to protect her son and even resurrects a dead giant, but who do you think we're dealing with here? Kratos is about to kill Balder, but Atreus stops him, and Kratos gives him one last chance. Balder uses his one last chance to kill his mother, so he ran out of chances. The matter of children killing their parents is very personal to Kratos, which you might have noticed, and he needs to teach a lesson to his son, so he does what he does best. Freya is not very happy that Kratos killed the most important thing in her life and promises to destroy him in the vilest way possible, so... well done, Kratos. You turned one of the 4 friends you've ever had into a mortal enemy. Great job. Can we go to Jotunheim now? Yes, finally, thank you. As they enter the realm of the giants, they realize that it's a little quiet. There is no giant in sight. Touching an empty wall, Atreus reveals a hidden mural that, as it turns out, reveals the entirety of Kratos' and Atreus' journey up to this point. It turns out that Faye is a giant with prophetic vision, and she laid out the entire path up to this point. That's pretty crazy. So, her request wasn't only to reunite with her people, but also to unite the father and son. In the far side of the mural, Kratos spots a glimpse of the future. Atreus mourning a dying man. Who is this man? There are as many theories to this as there are God of War fans, so the two finally reach the peak, and they find the giants all dead. Atreus, it appears, is the last one. They finally scatter the ashes, honoring Faye's request, and after all this time, after a million boys, Kratos finally has the strength to say,
Son.
Wow, this was really an exciting journey full of character development. Kratos learned that he needs to accept and tell the truth and bonded with his son, and Atreus learned how to be a good god who helps people and doesn't kill their parents. That's very important. Really seems like a Game of the Year material, if you ask me. Oh, and one more thing. Apparently, Atreus' name on the mural said Loki, but that's nothing important, just saying. The two return to find that winter started getting a little stronger. As it turns out, by killing Baldur, Kratos caused the start of Fimbulwinter, 3 years of unending snow and cold that will end in Ragnarok, the literal apocalypse that Odin has been trying to prevent more than anything. So yeah, Kratos is the cause of another prophecy, and Kratos just goes,
I'm sorry, my bad, so clumsy.
and it's fine, 3 years is a long time, they'll figure something out, the end of the world, no biggie. After a very long and tiring journey full of looking for MacGuffins, they finally return home to rest. Then all of a sudden their house is attacked and they come out to find goddamn Thor about to attack, and it was a dream. It was just a prophetic dream Atreus had, and that won't happen for like 3 years. Thanks for spoiling the next game, you little asshole.